In the last video, we talked about the wrong approach, and in this video, we're going to talk about the right approach. But before I get too detailed with that, I want to continue with my analogy of selling real estate and selling cars. So as far as selling software, I said it's like selling real estate. It's a huge decision, but also like being a realtor, most realtors specialize in a certain kind of house that they sell. In other words, it's very unlikely that you're going to go to one realtor that's going to be selling a $100,000 house that's also selling a $2 million, $3 million, $4 million home. And even different than that, most realtors that sell commercial property don't sell residential property. Why? Because the needs of those prospects are just very, very different. When you're marketing them, the targeting of them, all that is very different. And so in the same way, when I talk about selling software with integrated payments, I want to make it very clear right from the beginning, I'm not talking about you need to be able to sell any kind of software with any kind of features to any kind of merchant. That's totally unrealistic, and it's actually part of the wrong approach that I see playing out as I see salespeople that are looking at solutions that have lots of apps or things like that, and they say, well, with this solution, I could just sell almost any merchant out there. That's actually not true. You couldn't sell any merchant out there. It just so happens that the technology you're offering has features that would be beneficial to any merchant out there, but that doesn't mean you could sell it to any merchant out there. Because sales is an acquired skill. Sales is something that we have to learn, and just like when you started selling payment processing, or maybe in the past you sold mortgages or insurance or cars, there is a whole sales process that goes into selling a certain type of prospect a certain feature. Are there sales skills that are transferable to selling many, many different things? Absolutely, but no matter how good a salesperson you are, when you go to sell something new, there are certain details, there are certain tricks of the trade, there are certain pieces of knowledge that you really have to have about that specific solution, that specific feature, that value proposition, and I believe even more importantly, that specific kind of prospect and the needs that they have in mind. So as we talk about the right solution, understand that the right solution starts by identifying one software with one value proposition for one type of merchant. Now, over time, are there realtors that eventually can sell expensive houses and inexpensive houses? Yes. But initially, most realtors, just like in any other industry, when they get into it, they focus on one thing, and you need to do the same thing. Okay? Now, it just so happens this creates really the perfect approach for making a smooth transition, because the truth is, you are not, I repeat, you are not going to be in a position to make a cold turkey switch or pivot from saying, I sell credit card processing to I sell software. Okay? Because the problem is, you're probably not going to have enough qualified prospects to even go after, because you're really only going to be able to effectively sell one kind of software with one value proposition to one type of business initially. So how do we structure this to be the right approach? Well, some of you might already be ahead of me here, but it's pretty simple. The agents that I've seen that have made this transition successfully, what they do is pretty basic and pretty simple. They continue doing what they've been doing all along, selling payment processing, selling standalone terminals, and just doing the things that they've been doing. Whatever they're selling in credit card processing successfully, they continue down that path. But they take one day a week, or they take 2 or 3 hours every day, and they spend that time becoming an absolute expert sales professional at selling one software, one value proposition to one business type. So they might sell scheduling software to hair salons. Okay? So they'll pick a software solution that integrates with their payment processing that they're able to offer, that has the feature of online appointment scheduling, and they'll spend 2 or 3 hours a day or one entire day a week going to all of the hair salons within 20, 30, 40 miles of them, and they'll walk in there and they're not pitching payment processing, they're pitching appointment scheduling software that happens to have integrated payments with it. And we'll talk much more about that as we go through the other videos as far as how you can bundle these together effectively. But the pitch is all about appointment scheduling software. Well, here's the beauty of it. 60 days go by, 90 days, maybe even 6 months, depending on sales ability and experience, and that sales professional becomes unbelievably good at selling appointment scheduling software with this one company to hair salons. They become experts at that. In fact, I know many agents that have gotten to the point where their sales process is so smooth, they can even do a one-call close just like they used to do with credit card processing because they've gotten so good at overcoming the roadblocks and overcoming the objections, and we'll talk so much more about that in the videos to come in this course. So they get to that point. Well, then what do they do once they become an expert at that? Well, now they pick an adjacent vertical. So they say, you know what? I think I'm going to keep selling that exact same software, but what are some of the other features or apps that are available with that same software that I'm already familiar with that would be interesting for a different business type that would be maybe similar? So maybe I'm going to go to nail salons, right? Or I'm going to go to chiropractor offices. These are all places that use appointment scheduling, but maybe they also would want a different feature or app from that system, and they can go and they can present that. Now the learning curve gets shorter, right? All of a sudden, 30 to 60 days in, they say, you know what? I think I got this thing figured out. I know how to sell chiropractors this software. I got it. So now I'm spending a day a week selling hair salons. I'm spending a day a week selling chiropractors. What do I do next? Well, I pick another vertical, right? You see what I'm doing here? I'm slowly expanding my expertise, and I'm slowly transitioning my time away from selling payments on their own, standalone, and I'm transitioning to selling integrated payments with software by focusing on features and benefits that business owners want. I've seen it play out hundreds, even thousands of times, and I'm telling you, that approach will work for you or your team, and it will make it a smooth transition so you don't lose all your productivity overnight, but instead you make a smooth shift and you start to make that learning curve shorter and shorter as you add more and more verticals to your repertoire of places you know how to sell, but hopefully staying with the same software and maybe looking at targeting different features and different benefits, different apps that are going to be beneficial to different business types.